Hey, Nick here with Odyssey Custom Vans. Welcome to the shop. I'm going to show you around and also show you a little bit about what I'm working on today. Here at Odyssey Custom Vans, we are working on two vans specifically. We have two brand new Ford Transit all-wheel drive, high roof, and these are the regular length, they're not the extended. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through both of them just so you know a little bit about the vans first, and then we'll talk about details on the inside, how we upfit them, and then our plans for these actual two vans. Okay, we've got the camera off the tripod. I'm gonna move the light around just so you guys can see a little bit better. But the van that I'm showing you first, this is the Ford Transit 2020. This one almost has 100 miles on it. And this is the one that we purchased from Minerva, Ohio. This is where we got this one. I'm not going to move the ladder because I'm going to show you guys up on the roof here in just a second. And let me get the keys.
And what year is it?
2020. The reason I'm working on this one first is this is the 2020 model year, so we want to get that completed this year. The one behind me is a 2021. We'll talk about that one in just a second. But this van right here, it's almost like a unicorn van because not only is it new, but this is a 350 chassis. And if you guys didn't know, in 2020, the all-wheel drive system on the Ford Transits were only available on the 350 chassis. So that's why this year has the all-wheel drive, and it's a 350. Even more rare, this has the EcoBoost engine, which is the turbocharged engine. So a lot of power, especially when you load it up. But the 350 chassis weight ratings, you're gonna be able to load this thing up really nice and not have to worry about being overweight or getting over your gross weight. Now, a couple things in this van. This is a premium trim on this van. So I'm gonna go ahead and unlock it. Come over here, Jamie. So if you guys look in here, let me get the t-shirt off the seat. We have black leather seats. So this is a rare trim in this van. We got the big screen up here for the reversing cam. So this is the biggest screen you can get in a Ford Transit. So everything in this front part is very luxurious. And that's the exact type of build that we're doing on this van. So since this van is so nice trim-wise, we've decided to make this a spec build for the company. And to do that, we're using Adventure Wagon's interior kit. So I'll show you a little bit about the inside of the van. What's so nice about the high roofs as opposed to the mid roofs is I'm 6 feet high or tall, and you've got an extreme amount of room. And if you're in a mid roof, you can walk into this van and you can stand up in it, but there's a lot of things that you got to take into consideration. You have the added height or the removal of height by the floor system that you're going to put in the van. So depending on if you want to have 1-inch foam insulation, your 1/2-inch plywood, laminate, or vinyl for your flooring, that's all taken away your height in the top of the van. So you need to have that in consideration. Also, how much insulation are you going to put into the top of the van? Now, this Adventure Wagon kit, I've got a couple of the components here. What's really nice about it is this company is super professional. Customer service, getting back to you, any type of questions you have.
Maybe explain where these go.
Yeah, get into that. So this company, true professionals, and you can really see it in the quality of these products. So I'm really excited to install this. This system should take on average about 4 to 5 days to install. So it is a pretty in-depth install, but in the future, you guys will see that in coming videos. But I just wanted to move some stuff around so you guys can see the beauty of buying this essentially interior kit in a box. Is they do something special with the rear of the van. You can, when you buy the kit, you can request, it is an additional charge, but you can request to have the thermoform plastic bump outs. So if you don't know what a bump out is, if you go in the back of the van here, you'll see that the van actually bumps out and you'll have this cavity right here. So if you use this in a Ford Transit, you're able to sleep sideways. And I had the same type of setup in, I don't have the Adventure Wagon in my van, but in my personal van, I've upholstered these two sides, and that allows me to sleep. I'm 6 feet tall, and I can sleep sideways, perfectly fine. Okay, we're back on the tripod here. Talking about bump outs. So on the bump outs, what you can do on a Ford Transit is you can sleep sideways. There is a company that's called Flare Space, and you get even more if you wanted to fit like a normal queen instead of like a queen short or RV queen type of thing. I've found that with the bump outs and the mattress size that we use, somebody that's 6 foot tall can sleep comfortably sideways. Again, Flare Space makes it to where you can actually cut these panels out, which is a little invasive. Some people might not be comfortable with that. That's why going with a solution like Adventure Wagon has with a thermoform plastic, you're getting the best of both worlds. You're not having to cut this, but you're getting the space to be able to put your mattress and sleep inside. That's the plan for this van. There's a lot of other components that I'll show you guys in a future video, but let's get back to talking about the van. Ford Transit 350 high roof. This is the non-extended, so it's really comfortable to drive around. It doesn't feel like an RV. You can fit this in a normal parking space. Let's see where else to go. Let's go to the roof. We can talk about that now. All right, I'm gonna hop back in here and I'm gonna show you guys, or try to explain. We just cleaned up the shop, so that's why all this stuff is in here. When we go to van number 2, I'll show you, that actually has a taped out layout. It's kind of like a mock-up. Anyway, this one we're going to do more of a classic van interior. So we have a fixed bed platform that we're putting in the back. And then here we're going to have a kitchen galley. We're going to have a isotherm Cruise 130 fridge. That's the big fridge. Huge fridge. That's going to be over here on the right. It's a 12-volt fridge. And then we'll have drawers, cabinets, cabinet door for the sink area, and then we'll have an induction stove. That's all going to be there. Moving further back, you're going to have your water tank. This one, since this is more of the premium build out, we're probably going to do a 32-gallon tank. And that way you don't have to use 32 gallons, but it's there if you really wanted to go off grid and stay out for a while. Paired with that, on the left-hand side over here, on the other wheel well, we're going to be doing a 300 amp hour lithium battery system. That's going to be complete with a DC to DC charger. So what the DC to DC charger does is going to take your starting battery for your engine, and your alternator will charge your battery, and that will be connected to the DC to DC charger, which will top off your lithium batteries. And then on the roof, we're moving the max air fan, which is the vent fan for the vehicle to get your ventilation. We're going to be doing that right here. So on my van, I have it in the back because I have vents on the front windows, and that's how I want my airflow. But on this van, we're doing it opposite. We're going to have rear cabin windows, and those rear cabin windows are going to be open. And then not only does that help pull air from outside over your bed and exhaust it, but when you're cooking inside the van, you'll probably do most of your cooking outside. But if you are inside, it's raining, or you just want to cook something at nighttime, the vent fan is directly over your cooking area, and you're going to get that ventilation too. So that is a power system to power your induction stove, and all this stuff will be broke out in future videos, so you guys will get details and be able to ask questions if you have questions. So that's the bottom portion, and then as you come up, you're going to have all the upholstered panels from Adventure Wagon. And the number one reason to buy Adventure Wagon, or the reason somebody that's doing a DIY build will use Adventure Wagon, is because they're the only company that has this internal skeleton that's actually bolted into the van. And why that's so important is a lot of people, that when they design vans, they'll just bolt right into the structure of the van. Well, that's not really the best way, because not every single member that you're going to bolt into is structural. So having that frame as your core skeleton allows you to bolt different accessories to this system. So if you check out a Venture Wagon, you'll know that they have something that's called L-track, which is logistical track. So that is the same thing that's on airplanes. So if you look, when you're sitting on an airplane, the tracks that hold the seats down to the structure of the airplane, same exact thing. So what they're doing is they're reincorporating that into the van, so it does two things. Not only does it clamp and hold these panels into place, so it's kind of pop it in, lock it down with a track, but it's functional and it's structural. So you have a structural element, an ease of install. If you have to access one of these panels, you can take the track off, but it is a modular system. So if you want to buy bags, if you want to buy cabinet systems, bed systems, everything is modular and can be connected and attached to this track. Since the track is structural, because we have the frame bolted to the van. So really awesome system. I'm really excited to install it on this van, see how it works out. And then as we go to the very top of the van, we're gonna climb up the ladder here in just a second before we move on to van 2. We have our Max Air fan, and our Max Air fan, just come on over here. So here, let me point up here. So right here is where we're gonna cut a hole in the roof. And everybody cringes when they cut a hole into a brand new van, but I've already done that, so. Over that, moving on to cutting this out. The fan makes a world of difference. I'm gonna show you what the fan looks like right here. So on this table, these are portions of the Adventure Wagon kit. Everything's boxed. They ship it to you on a pallet, and that pallet weighs about 600 pounds. So it's, I'll tell you a bit more about the system later, but this is the fan. So this is the Max Fan Deluxe. What makes it deluxe is that Max Fan is really cool. I like it personally better than Fantastic Fan because Fantastic Fan doesn't have an integrated rain shield. So if you have an old school Fantastic Fan, I think Dometic makes that. If it starts raining, you have to close the lid and you can't vent your van. But Max Fan has it to where there's a rain shield, so if it rains, the air comes up under here and you can continue to circulate air out of your van or in your van if you want to. It comes with a remote control. It has an automatic ventilation feature to where things like 74 degrees, it will automatically open up your vent fan and exhaust that hot air out of your fan, even if you're not in the van. It's just really nice. So that is part of the system. We'll be installing that. Let's see. If you can come on this side of the ladder, I'm gonna walk up on this side. And then that way we can talk about the roof. Okay, we're on top of the roof. And the reason I wanted to show you this before I get started is there's kind of two streets of thought on two schools of thought on the roof. And so for this one, the designs that I have and that I've worked out, still contemplating something I want to do. It's going to have the fan regardless. It's going to have solar panels. That's just going to be up here. Now, how those are mounted is another thing. So if you're building your van on your own, budget is probably your main concern. So you can buy an extremely expensive roof rack that has add-ons, modularity, stuff like that. But when you have a high roof van like this, when you see one in real life, it's very high. So stay up here. I'm just going to go down the ladder. So I'm on the ground, and then, so this is 6 feet. And so you've got an additional at least like 3 feet going back up. The reason I say that is accessing the roof, you're probably not going to do it that often. I know my van that I have roof rack, solar panels. I really wouldn't think to load anything on top of the van to use that. So you can go with a roof rack that allows you to put like a deck or cross members so that you can load luggage and stuff like that. But just remember, you have to get up on the roof to put the stuff up on there, and then you have to get all that back off the roof. So what I try to do is just maximize my designs your interior garage of the back of the van, we'll show you that in just a second, to have as much space as possible so you don't have to end up putting stuff up on the roof because it's just troublesome to access. Plus, the real estate is very expensive, and if you can put as much solar as possible on there, I think that's a better idea. So we're probably going to do our own in-house design of a low-profile roof rack using 80/20 and a couple of manufactured bracket. There's a DIY Vans kit that we'll probably buy for the place up here. Other than that, you can go with a company like Flatline Van Co. They make an exceptional rack. You can really grow into it. You can add cross members, you can add a ladder, you can add a front fairing, all that stuff. But first, we're going to put the fan, and then we're going to try to fit 300 to 400 watts of solar up here. And yeah, so now let's show you van number 2, because it's got some painter's tape all over the place, and you might get a better visual idea of how that layout's going to look like. Okay, welcome to van number 2 that we have in our shop. This is a brand new 2021 Ford Transit 350 high roof, non-extended, so the exact same floor plan and weight capacity as the van that we just showed you. It does not have the EcoBoost engine. It has the V6 engine, which is the same engine that I have in my van. It's excellent. Move it in here. We have a little bit of a smaller screen, same screen I have in my personal van. Black seats. They're a different leather type of trim, but this does have the new Ford dash layout, and I really, really like it because they got USB outlets and all kinds of stuff up here. We'll probably I don't know if you can see that detail. Oh, it's over there on the driver's side, Jamie. This one actually has the extended mirrors. So these are the big mirrors with the side markers, so that's pretty cool. The other one has a little bit shorter mirror. So these are the wide mirrors. You can really see a lot. So this one just has 40 miles on it. So this is really new. And up here, so see if you can get that. So you got your USB connection and you got a charge port. It's so cool. You can just put your phone right there. This one, van builders out there or DIYers, another reason you'll love this van is because this one has the electronic parking brake. So if you've been in a Ford Transit before, there's a big handle parking brake, and this one has it deleted. So we're going to go around, we'll look at that, and then we'll get into the layout. It's okay, here.
It's better when you kind of just do it kind of guerrilla style.
Yeah, I like it. All right, so come on over here. All right, guys, we're going to take this camera off the tripod, and I'm going to show you a couple details I'm going to point out. All right, so come with me. You got Nova, the shop dog. Nova, sit. Come on, do it for the camera. All right. She says she thinks we're going in the van. All right, so check this out. Notice how I said the parking brake is deleted? Look how much room you got here. It's so nice. This way you can really tie in your flooring. It's just much, much easier to build. If I go over here to the other van, you'll notice that you see that big box right there on the left? So it takes up your space kind of going in and out of the cabin, which is not a big deal. They do make a kit that deletes this bottom portion and you can lower it so that you can swivel the driver's seat. In this van, the driver's seat will not swivel. That's not part of the design layout. This seat will swivel. There'll be a upholstered bench here with a Lagoon table mount that you guys can move around. And then if we go in here, now we start, this is my personal favorite layout. The kitchen galley is here at the door. So if you guys can imagine, this is the area where you walk up, you're in your van, you're gonna have a dinette right here where this seat can swivel around because we don't have the brake. You're gonna have a nice window right here with vented window. We'll move around here, and if you can imagine, you're gonna stand right here, open the door, and besides that big softbox right there, that light, you're gonna have a nice view of the mountains or your campground or friends that are out there. or Nova. And right here, what I'm going to do is we're going to do an isotherm 85 drawer fridge so that you can pull it out here, get stuff to cook with. The induction, there's a couple inches of area where we can put the induction cooktop, and then we can put the sink over here that allows you to take the faucet, turn it around, and use it outside to rinse stuff off. I didn't mention this in this van, but same system back here. So both of these systems in the back are standardized for Odyssey Custom Vans. We have standardized water system pump, rear shower at the back, as well as the battery system over here. So that'll just let you know that there is a rear shower. I did not mention that on this van, but there is always a rear shower hookup connection in the back with independent controls for the water pump to turn it off and on remotely from the rear. And then, so this is your kitchen galley. There'll be a little door compartment right here. And we'll talk about this probably in a future video about winterization, undermount tanks, gray water tanks. But in these two vans, they're more geared towards inclement weather, snow, that type of stuff, so that if you do want to go up in the mountains, skiing, snowboarding, or just winter camping in the snow, which is so awesome, there's going to be gray water tank access on the interior. So there'll be jugs, probably like 7-gallon jerry cans, so maybe 2 of them. That way you can get at least 14 gallons of gray water storage. That way you're not having to worry about undermount tanks freezing, that sort of thing. It's really the simplest solution, and it's what I use on my van. If I go over here on the right hand side, this layout gives us incredible options as far as how deep you want to go into the van build. You have there's going to be a seat here, and then this space is left open so that when this swivels, you have a little dinette area with a lagoon mount as well. But over here, the possibility of an indoor shower, we have room for that. So this can be adjusted to include the indoor shower. And the ones that we source are an all-in-one unit. So all welded aluminum. They're really nice, but need some thought ahead of time if you do want to integrate that. I do leave spaces in these design layouts so that if you wanted to opt in for an indoor shower, you can. So it could be over here. And then in this layout, over here would be the actual area for the indoor shower on here, because we can move the fridge over, keep the kitchen just like that, and then allow this to still be the dinette area. This one is going to give you a good visualization of the bed height. This line is going to be the bottom of the bed. So if you can imagine, this is how much height you have in both vans for rear storage. And that is taking into account mountain bikes. If you want to store your mountain bike inside the van so it's more safe, don't have to worry about it getting taken off if you got a bike rack on the back, that sort of thing. I will let you guys know this is the garage. We call it the garage because it's kind of like your garage, like you would have at home. Except this one is designed to put bikes in. You have a ton of storage. So really don't worry about feeling like not having a full roof rack with cargo boxes and all that stuff is going to hinder you from storage. I don't have the cubic feet off the top of my head, but we might put that in the video. Yeah, let's wrap this up. Let's get you back on the tripod here. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this video with the tour showing you the vans that we have currently in stock and that are ready to be built. Again, the spec build over here on my right for van number 1, that is already in progress, depending on when you guys see this video and it comes out. However, van 2 is going to be probably about 2 months behind van number 1. So if you're interested in purchasing any of these vans or having van 1 or 2 customized, changing it up like we were talking about, the shower, the roof rack system, even the power system, upgrading that from 300 amp hours, say, to 600 amp hours, just depending on your usage of the van. Let me know, put it down in the comments below if you guys are watching this on YouTube. Otherwise, you can contact me directly at sales@odysseycustomvans.com. That's ODYSSEY, customvans.com. My name is Nick Eilerman for Odyssey Custom Vans, and I'll see you guys in the next video.